Today we're going to be doing a review of counting on. Some background knowledge that you should already have. In kindergarten, you learned that you could start at any number and keep counting up from there. So for example, if you started at 37, you would say 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Counting on is just a fancy way on how to do that using an open number line. So if you're thinking of counting on, you can think of that background knowledge that you have all the way from kindergarten, and this is just a fancy way in order to show what you're thinking. So counting on, we're going to use that for subtraction, and remember that there's a relationship, you want to say, between addition and subtraction. You can use addition to solve and make sure that your answers are correct when you have a subtraction equation. So, for example, if I had 345 and I was subtracting 116 and I wanted to count on, I could start at 116 and I can keep on counting and then stop when I get to 345. Now, that would take a really long time, especially if I was counting by ones. And so we're going to do some really big jumps by hundreds. We're going to also do some other jumps that are going to be just by tens. And then we're going to look back and see what we had to add to it, and that'll tell us what the answer is. Let me show you. So for this counting on, you're going to start at the small number. Counting on has another name. It's called adding up. So you can think about it in that way. Sometimes you might see that as a question that shows up on your work. So I'm starting at the 116, and I'm going to put that all the way on the left-hand side. Oops, can't see that. Let me just do a little bit of rearranging. I've got stuff on my desk. So, all right, so 116, that's where we're going to start. I like getting to the next 10. It makes it a lot easier when I'm adding. So 6 partner pairs with 4 to get to the next 10. So first I'm going to add 4 because I like it to be a nice round number. So 116 plus the 4 gives us 120. Now I want the 120 to get to 200. Getting to the next 100 is going to make my life a lot easier. So first I'm going to do that. So I know that 2 partners with 8 for the next 10. So 20 needs 80 to get to the next 100. So we're going to add the 80. So far I've added the 4 and I've added the 80, but I haven't reached that 345. We'll get there. So 120 plus the 80, I know, is 200. 200, I'm trying to get to 345. So next I'm going to add 100, and then I'm going to add my 40, and then I'm going to add my 5. So don't forget that you're going to make your lines touch and go down, down, down past that open number line, and you're going to say 200 plus 100 is 300. The next thing I need to add is the 40. 300 plus 40 is 340. Now I'm going to be adding the 5 because I have to stop when I get to 345. So we're adding the 5. So you might want to say, oh, I'm going to stop here. This is going to be what my answer is, 345. If you wrote in 345, look back at what you wrote. You should recognize that it doesn't make sense. So 345 minus 116 equals 345. Nope. So the way to figure out what your answer is for this is you look back. What did I have to add? Ooh, I picked a marker. That doesn't work that great. You want to start with the greatest value, which would be the 100. So I added 100, 80. The next greatest value is 40. And then I also added 4 and 5. Now, when I'm looking at this, I know that this is going to be more than 100, so I'm going to pre-add that. So 80 plus 40 is 120. So 100 plus 120, and then 4 plus 5 is 9. So if I add all 3 of these add-ends, I will get, well, let's see, 0 plus 0 plus 9 in the ones. We've got a 9. The only thing in my tens is a 2, and then 100 plus 100 is 2. So 229 is the difference that we're going to put right here. Now, sometimes counting on seems like a lot more work. Sometimes counting on seems like the best choice. So the whole idea behind this is to have a lot of different strategies that you can use depending on which equation that you're trying to solve for. So let's look at another one using the counting on. And now I did not check that with addition, but that's always another thing that you want to do And usually I use vertical way when I'm checking a subtraction equation. So the next one, 437 minus 245. And that equals some kind of magical number. Remember, counting on, we're starting at the 245. We don't put our start number way over here. We're going to put that all the way on this left-hand side. If we were doing counting backwards, then our backwards jumps would start over here. So since we're going up, 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 we're putting the number here. So 245, and I'm trying to get all the way to 437. So when I stop, this number over here should say 437. I'm not ready for that yet, though. So 245, I'm going to get to my next 10. The 5 partners with 5, so I'm going to add 5. That gets me to 250. Now I'm going to look and see, how many does this 5 in the tens place need to get to the next 100? Remember, 5 plus 5 is 10, so I'm going to be adding 5 tens, which has a value of 50. So 250 plus that 50 is 300. 300 is not 437, so I need to add one more 100. So 300 plus that 100 gets me to 400. I only need 37 more. So I'm going to break that 37 into a 30 and a 7. That's how we do it on our counting on. I know some of you guys probably want to just say, well, let me just add the 37. There's a reason why we're doing it in this kind of a way, okay? So we're going to add the 30, so 400 plus the 30 is 430. Now we're going to add the 7. So check back, see what you added. I'm going to start with the greatest value, so 100. We've got the 50 and the 30, the 7 and the 5. So in your head, a lot of you guys are able to do this. I'm just going to be writing out because I'm doing a whole focus on counting on. So add all of these numbers, and it'll tell you what the difference between those two numbers is. So 100 plus 50 plus 30 plus 7 plus the 5. So 150 plus the 30 is 180. The 5 plus the 7 kind of throws me in like a, let me think for a second. That, because it has the regrouping. So that will be 12. So next I'm thinking, okay, well, what is 180 plus the 12? And that will be 192. So the difference between these two numbers is 192. And where I made the mistake last time, and it wasn't necessarily a mistake, I just want you guys to be in the pattern of every time I do this, let me just do a double check and make sure that my answer is correct. So in order to double check that your answer is correct, you want to say, okay, well, is 192 plus the 245, does that equal up to 437? So we're going to make sure with that right here. So 192 plus the 245. And this is just working backwards using the addition. So 2 plus 5 is 7. 9 tens plus 4 tens is 13. We're going to carry up our 1. 1 plus 1 plus 2 is 4 in the 100. So 437 does equal up to be 437. So we know that our difference is correct. That's how you do the counting on. If you want to check on the other video, I'm going to be doing a counting back review.